Hi Mark, welcome to your first online lesson, mate. Thank you so much for allowing me to help you with your game. It really does mean the world to me that people do send these videos in and I can help you with it. Well done on winning a couple of comps as well, even if it is just a midweek competition. Anything that builds confidence is a massive achievement and it's a great thing to do, so congratulations on that. Unlucky on missing your PAT test. I remember when I did mine, it's one of the most stressful things in the world, but I'm sure you get, if it's the same over here, over there is over here. You get as many chances as you want at it. So practice, work on the things that we're going to look at in this video, and then go again. And I'm sure you'll be fine. I don't think you missed it by much, did you? Great golf, by the way, as well. Great handicap. Lower than what I ever got to be fair, as well. Having looked at it, there's definitely some things that we can work on. I've done the video already. And I would like to apologise off the bat because I've called you John in it for the first. I've said hi, John. My previous lesson was John, so I was just in a different place there, and I apologise for that. Now, we'll look straight into it. I have already done it, like I said. Then we will look at potentially some drills that we can do. I'll do those in here. We have to work from home if we can at the minute, so I do these online lessons from home at the moment. And I think there's some really good nuggets in there, mate. Like I said, I've already done it. So let's have a look at what we're going to look at. And then let's have a look at some drills.
Okay, John, so having read through your email, obviously you can play, you're a good player, good luck with your PAT test next time you play. The first thing we're going to look at is you potentially leaving some distance on the table, because that can definitely help you. I always like to start these videos with positives, mate, because, there's loads of them going on here. I absolutely love that club face angle here. I love that it matches your spine angle. I think that's a great takeaway. There are things in the takeaway we're going to look at, but I'll leave that for a second. I also love how the shaft dissects your right forearm there. I think that's brilliant. I've just missed that with the line, but fantastic positioning. And then I also love how when you get to the top here, your shoulders mimicking, your left arm's mimicking your shoulder line, which looks great. The club's on a nice kind of plane there. It's pointing in a nice direction. Now, as you said, I'm going to clear all those off. And as you said, it is a little bit long. It's very John Daly-esque, actually, with the wrist movements. And if we go over to the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that again there. Again, really love the width of this takeaway here. That's fantastic. Now, this video isn't just to blow smoke up this golf swing, because like you said, there are things that can help and we can improve on. And one of those is, so let me go back to the start of these. One of those is, mate, the separation between upper and lower body. And you can see that really well on both these videos, and that's definitely costing you a little bit of yardage. So we're actually going to start with the address position on the right-hand side of the screen, which is your face on. And I'm going to put a rectangle over your hips. In fact, we'll go, that matches your jeans too much, we'll go red over your hips there, and another one over your upper body there, okay? And as we go away, so you start the takeaway, note how hips and shoulders move in the same fashion. There's no disassociation, there's no timing difference there. So as your left arm, this is a great point to look at, as your left arm is parallel to the ground, look at the amount that your hips have rotated already there. Now for me, when your left arm is parallel to the ground, that's almost your trigger to then allow your hips to start moving. And you'll see it really well on the left-hand side of the screen as well. So as we turn all the way back, even when that's a great point as well, even when the club's parallel to the ground, look how much the hips have moved. I can see now your kind of left pelvis on the down the line swing. Ideally here, and I will show you a drill for this when we get in kind of in the office, I'd love to see the hips a little bit more stationary there, not quite moved. That would create a little bit more torque between the shoulders and the hips there, and that would help you get a little bit more club head speed. That's something which I think can definitely help. I think you'll notice a difference straight away in not only the power you can create, but also how much potential load you can get on there. So if I clear away all these lines here, you can see how actually you look very, very heavily on this side, don't you? You look very heavily on your trail side. that's because your hips have gone so early. So if you can delay that a little bit, your shoulders still want to go at the same time, obviously, because they start the takeaway. But if we can delay the hips a little bit, you'll create that bit of a disassociation. You'll create that little bit more stretch. I hate calling it an X factor stretch because that's not really what it is, but that's kind of the terminology a lot of people do use on it. And then what will happen is as you start the downswing, rather than, where are we, top of the backswing there. So rather than the hips being so outset there, they'll actually be a little bit more closed, and you start the downswing with those hips, then followed by the shoulders, then followed by the arms, then followed by the release of the club. That will actually in turn, it's amazing how all these things tie in, that will in turn get this club face in a better position. Because again, if we clear these lines off, we spoke about how good the club face was on the way back, and in fact, let me show you that. So the club face on the way back, it was one of the first things I noticed. It's almost perfect. It's in a great position. So we'll put a red line, in fact now we'll put a blue line on there for you to see that, and that's your spine angle on the way back, so they're running parallel to each other. Great. Same position on the way down. Spine angle's great, hasn't changed much. You're rotating around that nicely, but now we see that club face wide open. So this should help with that as well, because you'll generate a better release because you're working the hips better and the upper body better. They're two things which I think in unison will help you a lot. One other thing I've noticed, I'd really don't, this doesn't worry me as much, is just that elbow at the top of the backswing there. I think potentially by just tucking that in a little bit more, getting a little bit more compact, maybe we can hit more consistent golf shots. I always see that when an elbow's out there kind of trailing a little bit, it can make it difficult to... It depends entirely on your game and how you time things. I've read through your email quite a lot, and I think you can play, and you can play to probably a better level than me. So I don't want to stand here and pick fault at something which just looks like it may fall apart at places. I'm looking at the way that club face has been released, and you can see it in the blue circle now. It's very flipped, isn't it? And you did mention that in the email. Just trying to control that club face a little bit more rather than trying to manipulate it could possibly help that. And I think tying the things we've done into a right elbow that's set a little bit more and a bit more tucked in. I'll show you a quick drill for that as well in a second. All in all, mate, I think there's some fantastic things going on there. I don't think you'll struggle with your PA test moving forward. A couple of things which we might look at is just that release a little bit like we said. I'd like to see the club more on that line there rather than released early. Something to work on in the future maybe, so let me know if you want to have a look at that once we can get longer shots in there and more consistent strikes in there and things like that. I never want to throw too much at you on the first go. Let's have a look at some drills we can do now, mate, but some very, very good stuff in there. I think you can be proud of that golf swing as definitely as a starting point, if not a really good kind of point to build on.
Mark, so excuse the office for these drills, but like I said, some really good stuff in there. A couple of things, well, the main thing I want to work on, I'm just going to lower this a little bit so you can see my hips as well, is disassociation between upper body and lower body. So you can see, you don't need to see my face really, it's ugly anyway. When I take the club away, I want to feel as though the shoulders go, and look how stable my hips are here, especially the trail hip there. It doesn't really go until the club or the arm gets to parallel to the ground, then it can go, and you see how much more torque I can create there. So really focus on keeping those hips nice and still, rotating the shoulders, look how still those hips are there. That's really going to help me to A, disassociate, and B, create a little bit more speed and power. I apologise for this mess over here, that's terrible, I know. But then if you do practice with someone, this is a really good drill where someone can help you. So all they're going to do is hold your hip in place as you take the club away, so you get that feeling of working the shoulders away as the hips stay stable. That's a really good drill that can help you. It's such a simple one as well. I know sometimes the feeling can be difficult to grasp, but for me it's one that I worked on myself, and it's actually not as hard as maybe some other feelings. The other drill is the real simple one of just putting anything, what can we use? A bag, a head cover, anything, just under that right arm, and as you take the club away, just feel like that stays under there a little bit. You'll see how that gets you in a kind of more compact position like we mentioned in the video, but also it will shorten the swing a little bit. That's not something which I'm overly worried about. I'd rather you focus on the disassociation first. I think that'll help you more so. It'll help you with the club face on the way down, like we said as well, because we're going to start the downswing with the hips as opposed to just a one-piece motion. That's what we're trying to get away from, Mark. We're trying to get away from just a one-piece rotational motion of the body and get a bit of a coil in, get a little bit of a, like I said, from the ground up. So when you attack the golf ball from the top of your swing, it's hips first, so it's legs first, it's hips, it's torso, it's shoulders, it's arms, it's hands, it's club. So it's like a big sequence that gets you down to the ball in time for a better strike. Mark, really good stuff, mate. I hope that's helped you. I always try and keep these kind of short and to the point so you can re-watch them at the driving range and things like that. If you have any questions at all, mate, feel free, ping me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you want to continue these, by all means, just ping me a message and we'll keep doing something similar. Good luck, mate. Really, really good stuff. Thanks a lot for that, and I'll see you soon. Bye.